Morning guys, Chris from Decisive Coaching. An interesting conversation with a chap this morning. I've been helping him out with some diet and nutrition, and he said to me, Chris, I've often wondered over the years, you do hear it and then you see it on the TV and the news and various things, you hear that stress creates sickness, illness and disease, and he says, how does that actually work? He says, you're a guy that might know that. I said, well, weirdly enough, it's really quite simple. So I explained it to him, and he was like, wow, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And by understanding how something works, it gives you that sense of ability that you're able to do something about it, and you don't actually just have to hope for the best, hope that you don't get ill and you don't get sick, and it's kind of luck of the draw. But it doesn't have to be like that, and I'm going to explain to you how, in simple terms, how it works. Now, on the board here, on the left, we've got love and fear. These are the kind of main basic emotions that we feel on a day-to-day basis. Now, hopefully, if we was to live under the emotion of love most of the time, that would be great, and you probably wouldn't have too many worries about having any kind of illness, sickness and disease. And, of course, we have the emotion of fear, which is the predominant one in our society nowadays. Is that on TV, if you watch the TV and the news, you'll see that it's all fear-based information that's coming at you. If you open the newspapers, other than the occasional naked woman with her boobs out, you'll see probably most of it is fear-based stories, fear-based material of all of the horror that's going on in the world, which is why I choose not to watch the news or the TV most of the time unless there's something interesting. But that's another story. But hey, fear. Fear is there to serve us a purpose. Fear is there to protect us. Okay, but it has its place. So if you wind the clock back a few million years, and the only time really fear should interact in our lives is to get us out of trouble. So if there's something chasing us that wants to eat us, or another caveman wants to beat us over the head with his club just to nick our berries, then you need to be able to either run or stand there and fight. What creates that? Adrenaline, doesn't it? You've all heard of that, adrenaline. How does it work? Okay, so depending on the information, this is a brain, okay, depending on the information that goes into our conscious mind, the conscious mind is the part at the front, okay, most of the rest of the brain is classed as the subconscious, and this frontal lobe of the brain is the conscious. Conscious mind deals with all of the day-to-day processes, a little bit like a computer with the processor. It deals with everything that you are doing in any one moment, and your aspirations, the things that you desire, the things that you like. It runs the day-to-day business of the mind. Subconscious is just a recorder that's recorded almost everything, or pretty much everything that you've ever experienced. Everything you heard, everything you've seen, every emotion that you've experienced, all of the beliefs taught to you by parents, teachers, doctors, TV, media, movies and everything else. So how does this all fit in? So right here behind the frontal cortex of the brain we have the pituitary gland. Now the pituitary gland, when we sense fear of any kind of substantial stress, okay, the pituitary gland releases a hormone down to the adrenal glands, which are located behind the ribs, just in the front here. They excrete adrenaline into the bloodstream. Now what happens when the adrenaline excretes, the adrenal glands excrete adrenaline into the bloodstream? It does a few different things. It makes you get up and go. It sends all the energy to your arms and legs to be able to stand there and fight and get you out of trouble. Okay? But it also does something else. And that is, when adrenaline is pumped into, excreted and released into the bloodstream, we have to conserve as much energy as we can. So a lot of the other processes in the body, like our immune system, is actually shut down. And our digestive system is slowed down or even shut down temporarily. So under the sense of fear, okay, adrenal glands release adrenaline into the bloodstream, okay, that in turn shuts down your immune system, and your digestive system and various other processes in the body, vital for good health, is all shut down because of fear. The body goes into protection mode. All it wants to do is just run or stand and fight. So how does that work with creating sickness, illness and disease? It's great when you're running away from something that wants to eat you or somebody that wants to kill you, but all the time we're experiencing this emotion most of the time in today's society. So you're almost continuously releasing protective hormones and chemicals from the brain. This one in particular, adrenaline. Okay, there are various other ones which are actually on the other side here. Cortisol. We have cortisol, histamine, cytokines, adrenal, depression, all linked. All of these chemicals are linked with vigilant responses to help you get yourself out of trouble when you need to. But to live your life under that sense of fear, which is created by our perception of everything in the environment, with, like I said before, everything that's going on in the media, TV, newspapers and other people's beliefs. If you hang around certain people that are very fearful of life and sceptical and kind of angry, and they've got problems going on from the past that they can't deal with, it tends to create that environment of fear. So if you're living in an environment of fear, then your immune system's naturally just going to be very suppressed. All of the organs and the natural processes of the body are not going to function how they should. So how do we get around this? Now, on the other side of the board here, we've got the emotion called love. Love comes in so many different ways. It could be like you see something that you really, really would like, and you think that would give you so much pleasure. Because after all human beings, they strive. Our main purpose is to strive to gain pleasure by avoiding pain. And pain will be the emotion of fear. Okay? So, how do we do it? Let's flick this over again. So, the pleasure chemicals that are released into the body are dopamine, oxytocin, vasopressin and growth hormone. Now, when these chemicals are released into the bloodstream, it makes everything thrive. Okay, all of the cells of the body, they absolutely love the environment when these chemicals are released into the bloodstream. So, depending on your perception of the world, okay, let's flick that over again. So, thoughts, feelings, actions, results. So, the thoughts are created the perception of everything that goes on in your environment. The information that you take in will create your thoughts. So, it's how you interpret your thoughts and everything that you see will determine how you feel, and then how you feel is going to either release the loving chemicals, the pleasure chemicals in the brain, or it will release the fearful chemicals to put you into fight and flight mode. Okay, it's as easy as that. I hope that explains it, but that's pretty much how it works. So thoughts, feelings, actions, results. The best thing, the first thing that I would ever say to any of my clients, the easiest way to transform your life, it kind of sounds a little bit way out there, but you have to trust it. And that is that if you used to exchange expectations for appreciation, it does sound a little bit way out there, but trade your expectations in life for appreciation. Appreciate absolutely everything that you perceive, whether you think it's negative or not. Try and find something good out of it, anything that you perceive as bad. Because quite often the bad things that happen, something don't quite go your way, it puts you into a state of fear that you don't really want to try again, and then you'll end up giving up, and then you start getting angry and resentful inside. That will create anxiety, and then you'll start living under that emotion of fear. So fear does serve its purpose. It should really only be there to give you a kick up the arse, to get you moving forwards, to not really want that life of fear. Okay, it's there just to save your life, really. It's a protection mode. You shouldn't be living under that sense of fear. Everything that you do, every decision that you make, think to yourself, what's the worst can happen? Am I going to die from doing this? Is it going to kill me? If it's not going to kill you, do it. Okay? If it ain't going to kill you, do it. That would be my advice to anybody, and that is my advice to anybody. So the next video I'm going to do is going to be on the diet and nutritional side of how that can affect our lives as well. But it is predominantly our thoughts that create everything in our lives. As far as diet and losing weight, or giving up smoking, and or giving up alcohol, giving up any vices, there is a strategy of how to do this. And I've got my new program that's going to be coming out soon. It's going to be a step-by-step program. It's the Human Reboot System. REBOOT, the Human Reboot System. Keep an eye on the website, www.decisivecoachinguk.co.uk. Okay, keep an eye. I think there's a link down there underneath the video somewhere. But keep an eye on that program. There will be there'll be limited spaces to come and stay at our. We've got this beautiful location in Kent in the UK. We have the tree house, and we have the log cabin, and we have the cottage. And it's a great experience. It's very limited spaces on each program. I think there's only going to be up to 8 spaces per program. But if you ever fancy that, sign up. Visit our website. Sign up. You'll get the early parts of the program that I've done so far. But it's a really exciting program. It's a step-by-step program. Or you can come and visit, and we'll go through. We'll change your life completely. It will be change your mindset. Set the goals, decide what you've got to do, take decisive action, and just once and for all, get your life back on track. Get yourself up and going, moving forward, rather than sitting there procrastinating, worrying and moaning about your life, why it's not going the way you think it should. So I hope this has been an educational experience.